When will X, formerly known as Twitter, stop being referred to as X, formerly known as Twitter? Does this annoy people as much as it annoys me? Edit. I've never heard anyone actually vocalize it. I'm referencing online writing and articles who seem to exclusively call it that. I don't know if I've seen it called only one or the other. I don't see how it could ever stop. How would calling it just X ever catch on? And yes, I also find it annoying. Elon will sell it and whoever buys it will call it Twitter again. Probably when they change the name back to Twitter. X just doesn't work in sentences. So it will probably never stop. I saw a tweet the other day is descriptive and brand accurate. I saw an X the other day makes it sound like you ran into that batch who cheated on you. I tweeted makes sense. IXED makes it sound like you just had a stroke. He should change it to X. I'm not personally ever going to call it X except when I'm being sarcastic because X is a stupid fucking name. There's no way it's staying X. The rebrand has been a complete failure. And is widely regarded as one of the dumbest things Elon's done with Twitter. Elon's a stubborn dipshit though. So it'll probably only change back once he's forced to sell it to the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund. Or something. Who even refers to it as X? Everybody just calls it Twitter. X is a porn site. Because people are not yet familiar enough with X, formerly known as Twitter, to refer to it as just X, formerly known as Twitter, instead of X, formerly known as Twitter. Right now, when you say X, formerly known as Twitter, most people are going to think of X, the letter, or X, the Roman numeral 10. They are less likely to associate X, formerly known as Twitter, with X, formerly known as Twitter. It will likely take a long time before X, formerly known as Twitter, is associated with X, formerly known as Twitter, and not other uses of X. When they change it back to Twitter, it will stop being called X, formerly known as Twitter. Also, this question gets posted repeatedly. So either you are not alone or you are Elon Musk and this is your marketing strategy. Never, because X is a stupidly generic name. Twitter is called Twitter, no matter what this weird manchild says. When it goes bankrupt and everyone forgets about it, I'll respect it and call Twitter its chosen name when Elon respects his eldest child enough to use her chosen name, Vivian Jenna. They haven't even stopped referring to themselves as Twitter. Their fact-checker, for example, and the Twitter URL, and the fact that I've tried syncing the X URL to my Squarespace and MailChimp and other adjacent services and they don't acknowledge the X. I just call it Twitter. No one has ever not known what I meant. Just call it Twitter and ignore what anyone else calls it. Twitter rebrand went worse than Facebook's turn to Meta. I call it Zitter, pronounced Shishit-er. When some sane company buys it out of bankruptcy. As long as it still pisses off Elon. Imagine calling Twitter anything other than Twitter while the dude that dead names his own kid is in charge. Lol. Around the time we stop referring to him as the artist formerly known as Prince, I just call it Elon Muscovite's Dacha. I don't imagine it will remain relevant to write about long enough for that transition to occur. When X stops being a stupid name or when Musk for Brains changes is back, so never. When we stop referring to it at all because it lost its last shred of relevancy. People just say Twitter because it's just easier and because Elon won't stop dead naming his daughter on purpose. When Elon Musk stops dead naming his trans adult child who wants nothing to do with Musk, I'm half joking. But it's so funny to me. Elon keeps saying it's X now and everyone else is like, but it used to be named Twitter. The irony makes me giggle. When they go back to being Twitter, just keep calling it Twitter. You mean X accessed at? Probably when the platform inevitably dies. Never, because it is just stupid. Such bad branding emo. Twitter was perfect with the blue bird and the tweets. What does one call a tweet now? I hate it too. It's literally the worst name change they could have made. A name is supposed to be recognizable and as unique as possible. X can't be recognizable under any circumstances and it can't be unique. Because X is a placeholder that's used for everything. Even names. That is unknown. So if somebody says X did XYZ, it could just as easily refer to any other company. There is no name for a company that is worse than this. This just screams I want to destroy my own business. X will be axed eventually. At least the little Twitter bird was cute. X is a symbol fraught with negative history imho. Musk is a real nincompoop. Elon is an idiot. Can't change my mind. Twitter will always be Twitter. I hope it never stops. Because Elon is the first person to dead name trans people and then throws a hissy fit when people won't stop calling X, formerly known as Twitter, Twitter. Zitter. When it goes back to Twitter, X makes no sense. When you post on Twitter it's a tweet. When you post on X it's what? An X. An example? Exaggeration? Are just extremely annoying. Never. Do not give Muskrat the satisfaction it should always be referred to as. Formerly known as Twitter, just like Prince was. After he changes his name to a hieroglyphic. When it goes out of business. Probably when Elon Musk's lenders force a sale after he wrecks the company some more. It'll get changed back, I think. Hopefully never. Fuck that stupid rebranding. I hope they mention the name Twitter whenever it's referred to. Man shrugging light skin tone. Never, because X will always be associated with porn unless you add the word Twitter to it. When people drop the X and just continue calling it Twitter, I will never unironically call it X. It's called Twitter. When Musk is forced to liquidate the bankrupt business, whoever buys it will go back to calling it Twitter. My money is on April of 2025. If Elon dead name his kids, I'm gonna call it Twitter. Y'all really calling it X? Do you call Facebook Meta? When it stops being a ridiculously shitty edgelord Elmo name, i.e. never. Twitter has the same issue as Ye cause for him. It goes always like this controversial rapper, Kanye West, who also goes by the name Ye. Let's compromise and call it Twix. I thought it was a reference to Prince the artist formerly known as Prince. It's funny. I like it. Because calling it X alone sucks. It's Twitter. Always will be until it inevitably goes bankrupt as X. I'm going to call it Close Icon because that's what it looks like when tweets are published in articles. When it dies, I'm calling it Twitter forevermore, not just because X is dumb, but because Elon hates it and compared it to dead naming a trans person. I'm sure the artist formerly known as Prince would sympathize here. Vaguely gestures toward the artist formerly known as Prince. Never. Elon doesn't respect his daughter's name change. We don't respect Twitter's. Never. Because people aren't going to start calling it X. Because that sounds dumb as fuck. When they change it back to Twitter. Stop trying to make X a thing. Nah, it's better that way. Elon can suck an egg.